Welcome, everybody. My name is Brian Weaver. I'm the Vice President of Sales with NSA. Welcome to another nugget that we have. Today's session is going to be on total warehouse logistics. And I'm happy today to have with me Barry Cooper, a business consultant with NSA. Barry joined the NSA team in 2021, and he's got prior experience with ERP, wholesale distribution, and manufacturing. He's been working with SXC and TWL for over 20 years. His focus has been on business process improvements, business analytics, and re-engineering, along with documentation processes and workflows. Barry has done over a dozen of these TWL implementations, so he's a great guy to have as a resource today. So welcome to the NSA Nugget, Barry Cooper.
Glad to be here, Brian. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So what I'd like to do as we start off this nugget is let's define what total warehouse logistics actually is. Can you let us know just kind of briefly what that is?
Sure. Total warehouse logistics, aka TWL, is a warehouse management system, right? It tracks your inbound inventory, where is it inside of your four walls, and what orders are going out the door.
Excellent, thank you. So why would a client choose TWL? What's the value?
Well, first and foremost, accurate inventory, right? We always want to know, what's inside of our four walls and where is it inside of our four walls. Next, you've got increased productivity because you're driving your users to exactly where things are. They're scanning products to ensure that they're taking the right thing or receiving the right product. So now you have reduced errors. You've got real-time tracking of your inventory. So as users are performing functions on the RF devices, the system is updated in real time. And then you also have transactional history. So you can run reports on productivity. You can see, if you've got big spikes at a certain hour or certain days of the week, and make sure that you're properly staffed, as well as, see who did what.
Excellent. Well, it certainly sounds like there's a lot of efficiencies to be had with TWL. What are some of the ongoing preparations that we do for TWL? What does a client need to think about when they're preparing for it?
Sure. So, prior to putting in TWL, you want to make sure that you organize your warehouse, right? Go around, clean up any of the bin locations, make sure everything is neat and organized. It's a good time to take care and look at your damaged or unavailable inventory. Get as much of that out the door or taken care of as you can. As well as you want to clean up your non-stock inventory, making sure that anything that you brought in special for an order is getting shipped out on a timely manner so that it's easy to transition into TWL. The last thing you want to do is also you want to document your current processes so that as we begin the implementation phase, we can look for anything that might be missing or make sure that we're replicating a process that is vital to your business.
Okay, terrific. Well, speaking of implementation, how long does it typically take a client to implement? You've done, I know, over a dozen of these. So can you give us an idea as to what we're looking at time-wise?
Sure. Typically, you're looking at about 5 to 6 months, and that includes all of the, some of the prep work ahead of time, training, and then, of course, your go live. But typically, it's about 5 to 6 months.
Okay, great. And of course, the golden question here is how long after an implementation of TWL might a client start to realize their ROI on the investment?
So typically on that, you're gonna start to see it within about a month to 2 months. That first month is going to be a little bit slower than you're normally used to as the users get used to the change in process. But very quickly, they're going to start to adapt to that. And after about a month, you're going to start to see them become more efficient.
Wow, that's a pretty quick turnaround. What are some of the general case studies that you might be able to talk to a little bit on the implementations of TWL?
Sure. Just recently, I've done one where a receiving dock was days, weeks, and in some cases they were, months behind on getting product received in. This, of course, led to some AP issues where they were losing out on vendor discounts for paying ahead of time. And going in and implementing TWL, just the act of doing that, we were able to clean up the receiving dock, clean up the receiving processes, and now they're receiving on a day-to-day basis. So everything that comes in today is received today.
Okay, fantastic. So obviously TWL doesn't just stand all by itself as a software application. It obviously is going to require RF devices. So what type of radio frequency devices are needed for TWL or used?
Sure. TWL can be run either on Android or iOS devices. It still works on Windows CE if you got some old devices out there, but typically you're going to run it on Android devices. Anything that's got a Wi-Fi connection throughout your warehouse, typically the modern devices are supported. So. Currently, you can use a telnet session, but there is also an HTML5 version available as well. In NSA, we can certainly assist with, deciding, helping you choose the right devices, seeing some demos, and then, help you through that entire process all the way up to ordering them and then supporting them after that.
Well, that's great. I mean, not only can you get support and sale of TWL through NSA, but also the actual devices themselves, get guidance on those, as well as be able to actually purchase them through NSA. Fantastic. What type of reporting is available in TWL?
So out of the box, TWL's got a variety of reports to help you monitor your productivity, to look at, like, say, overshort or damaged on receiving. As well as within CSD, you can create your own KPIs so that you can monitor whatever it is that is vital to your business.
Sounds like a lot of flexibility there on reporting, which is great. So what does a client need to do in order to prepare for implementation? What do you like to see as they're kind of approaching that implementation process with you?
So the first thing that we want to do is we want to involve all business units, including the IT department. IT is going to have a vital role in the implementation, making sure everything is set up, making sure all the connections are there. We want to then set realistic expectations and timelines, right? We don't want to say that, we want to come in and we want this done in a month. That's just not realistic to get done. So we want to make sure that we're setting those realistic expectations and timelines. Then we want to review your current business processes. We want to look for any stopgaps that there might be, anything that is critical to your business having some sort of advantage in your market. And we want to make sure that we can replicate that inside of TWL. And then lastly, we want to review any kind of third-party integrations that you currently have or that you want to have. And making sure that we're accounting for those in our timeline.
Great. So Barry, what have you seen maybe a client fails to take into account, or what they might miss when they're preparing?
The biggest thing is making sure that all of their users are trained. And it's easy to miss maybe a night shift worker or weekend workers. Sometimes you forget that they're there and you concentrate on your day shift, right? So we want to make sure that all users are well trained, and then making sure that you have enough dedicated staff to the project so that timelines aren't being missed and people aren't being just overwhelmed with things or too many different facets of the project.
Great.
And we also reporting can sometimes get missed. That it kind of takes a back seat to because it's at the end of the process, and then so it gets missed, and then all of a sudden we go live, and oh my gosh, I need all of these reports, and then we're scrambling to get everything, all those reports made. And then lastly is go live does not mean that the project is done. Go live is just a step in that project. After that, we want to have regular monthly reviews to make sure that everything is going as the way it should, making sure users aren't having problems, or if things came up, after go live that we didn't account for, that we're adding that into your business process. And typically we'll do that for about a year, and then we'll move to more of a yearly review, and then move that into like a continuous improvement project that the customer themselves can take on. So that they're always coming back and looking, hey, what changed in our business? What do we need to account for?
Well, it sounds like really important work after the implementation to make sure that you're really ensuring that you're maximizing your ROI that you're getting out of TWL. So that makes a lot of sense. Barry, that's fantastic. This has been a great session. Is there anything that you have that you'd like to mention as far as final thoughts?
Here at NSA, we're going to help you through the entire process, and we're going to go live. Help you go live, and we're not going to walk away. We're going to stay connected with you. We're going to help you with the continuous improvement, and making sure that not only do you have a successful go live, but that you have a successful years to come, and not just with TWL. We can help with lots of other things as well.
Great. Well, if anyone out there might be interested in TWL, we're here to help for sure. And the next steps would be to either contact Barry or myself. Our contact information is on the screen here. My contact information for email is brian.weaver@nsacom.com. Barry's is barry.cooper@nsacom.com as well. I thank you for attending the Nugget session today, and we hope to hear from you on this. And that's a wrap.